Somewhere in the rolling countryside of Fayetteville, Georgia, stands a property that locals call Promised Land, but what looks like a peaceful southern ranch is in fact one of the most extravagant symbols of wealth and ambition in the world of hip-hop, the sprawling estate of Rick Ross, the man who proudly calls himself the biggest boss. This is no ordinary mansion. It is a 54,000 square foot fortress originally built for boxing icon Evander Holyfield, and in 2014, Ross purchased it for $5.8 million, a figure that now seems like a steal considering the scale of what he received. Behind its wrought iron gates lies a palace boasting 109 rooms, 21 bathrooms, a bowling alley, an indoor pool, a movie theater, a private gym, and even a fully equipped recording studio, while outside the grounds stretch across 235 acres of manicured lawns, stables filled with prized horses, ponds for fishing, and a swimming pool so massive it ranks among the largest residential pools in the nation. Yet for Ross, Promised Land is more than real estate. It is a stage where he performs his life as much as his music, a place where he can be seen mowing the lawn on a John Deere tractor while wearing a Versace robe, an image so surreal it became part of his social media legend. Every chandelier, marble staircase, and endless driveway acts as a prop in the continuing performance of his larger-than-life persona, but beneath the surface lies a deeper story, one of grit, controversy, and relentless ambition. Because while today Ross can host car shows that attract thousands or throw legendary 4th of July parties on lawns bigger than small towns, this empire is built on a foundation far removed from marble floors and chandeliers. To understand how Promised Land became not just a home but a symbol of dominance, we must look back to Miami, Florida, and the early life of a young William Leonard Roberts II, where football dreams, unexpected career turns, and an underground rap grind paved the road that led to the gates of Promised Land. Long before Rick Ross was known as the biggest boss, he was William Leonard Roberts II, a kid growing up in Carroll City, Florida, where opportunities were scarce but ambition ran deep. And while many only know him today for his luxury and music empire, his journey began on the football field. At Miami Carroll City Senior High, he stood out as a formidable athlete, earning a scholarship to Albany State University in Georgia, where he studied criminal justice, a path that might have led to a career in law enforcement. In a twist that later shocked many of his fans, Ross actually spent 2 years as a corrections officer in the mid-1990s, a fact that resurfaced years later and fueled controversy given his eventual rap persona as a hustler and street boss. But even while wearing a uniform, music was calling, and by the late 1990s, Roberts was making his mark in Miami's underground rap scene under the name Teflon Don, performing with the group Triple C's, short for Carroll City Cartel. His booming delivery and raw authenticity caught the ear of Miami legend Trick Daddy, and in 2002, Ross made a guest appearance on Trina's track, Told Y'all, a key stepping stone toward greater recognition. Around this time, he rebranded himself as Rick Ross, borrowing the name of infamous drug trafficker Freeway, Rick Ross, a move that would cement his larger-than-life persona and spark both fascination and criticism. Then came the defining moment, 2006's Hustlin', a single with such an infectious hook that it spread like wildfire, becoming a street anthem and sparking a bidding war among major labels. With Jay-Z at the helm, Def Jam ultimately signed Ross, and his debut album Port of Miami landed at #1 on the Billboard 200, selling nearly 187,000 copies in its first week. What had started as a grind in Carroll City now exploded into mainstream success, setting the stage for Ross to not just be a rapper, but a mogul in the making. After the explosive success of Hustlin' and his debut album Port of Miami, Rick Ross wasted no time solidifying his presence at the top of the charts, and over the next few years, he carefully built not only a catalog of hit records, but also a business empire that would cement his status as one of hip-hop's most influential figures. In 2008, his sophomore album Trilla debuted at #1, proving his breakout was no fluke, and by 2010, with the release of Teflon Don, Ross was a household name, delivering tracks that blended gritty street narratives with luxurious imagery that resonated across audiences. But Ross wasn't content with being just an artist. In 2009, he founded Maybach Music Group, known as MMG, a label that would soon become one of the most important forces in rap. Signing artists like Meek Mill, Whale, and Gunplay, Ross created a platform that transformed fresh talent into stars, while simultaneously expanding his own influence from rapper to label boss. This was more than a vanity project. It was an empire builder's move, ensuring that every success within MMG funneled back into his legacy. By the mid-2010s, Ross had released multiple Billboard-topping albums, including God Forgives, I Don't in 2012, and Rather You Than Me in 2017, while also stepping firmly into pop culture, appearing alongside celebrities like Martha Stewart and even headlining events for political figures. His ability to merge music, business, and persona turned him into a brand as much as an artist, and his empire reflected not only his taste for luxury, but his knack for transforming every opportunity into profit. But as much as the charts and label deals defined his rise, nothing told the story of his dominance quite like the sprawling estates he purchased, with Promised Land in Georgia serving as the heart of his empire. When Rick Ross purchased Evander Holyfield's former estate in 2014, he didn't just buy a mansion, he acquired a kingdom, and over the years, Promised Land has become the ultimate symbol of his lifestyle, blending Southern charm with Miami flash in a way that only Ross could pull off. Sitting on 235 acres after later expansions, the estate is massive enough to feel like its own small town, with a driveway so long it could host a NASCAR race, lawns manicured like a golf course, and stables housing his prized horses and even bison. Inside, the mansion boasts 109 rooms, including 12 bedrooms and 21 bathrooms, as well as luxuries like a bowling alley, a movie theater, a professional gym, and a recording studio. Its marble floors gleam under chandeliers large enough to light entire ballrooms, while a grand staircase practically demands a dramatic entrance. Outside, one of the largest residential pools in America stretches across the backyard, so large that swimming from one end to the other feels like an endurance event, surrounded by terraces perfect for hosting the legendary parties Ross is known for. Yet Promised Land is more than opulence. It is a functioning ranch where Ross feeds cows and bison in the morning, tends to horses, and sometimes mows the expansive lawns himself, turning even farm work into viral moments when he does it in a Versace robe. With a 4,000-square-foot guest house for visitors, multiple ponds, and open pastures that make the property feel like a private national park, Promised Land represents the balance Ross has created between performer and businessman, a place that doubles as a luxurious escape and a statement of power. But even with this kingdom in Georgia, Ross wanted another jewel in his empire, and for that he looked south to Miami. In July 2023, Rick Ross expanded his empire to Miami's most exclusive neighborhood, Star Island, where he purchased a waterfront palace for $35 million, and reportedly poured another $20 million into renovations, creating a home that rivals the luxury of any celebrity mansion in America. The 12,000-square-foot estate sits on a 40,000-square-foot lot with 100 feet of direct Biscayne Bay frontage, complete with a private dock capable of hosting yachts. Because for Ross, no mansion is complete without a place to park a floating palace. The gated entrance opens to a stunning facade anchored by a water fountain, leading inside to soaring 30-foot ceilings and wraparound glass walls that frame the bay like a moving postcard. The chef's kitchen is a blend of sleek design and practicality, able to handle both family breakfasts and catered parties for 50 guests, while the formal living areas open seamlessly onto terraces that flow toward the infinity edge pool and outdoor kitchen. Upstairs, guest suites offer views of either the Miami skyline or the bay itself, while the master suite is a private retreat with spa-level amenities, direct pool access, and floor-to-ceiling glass walls. Outside, the property features a zen garden, a heated pool with automated cleaning systems, and a hot tub tucked into lush landscaping. But beyond the details, Star Island represents Ross's ability to dominate in any setting, from the quiet countryside of Georgia to the glitzy waterfront of Miami. He lives large wherever he goes, building homes that serve as both personal sanctuaries and public symbols of success. Rick Ross's garage is less a collection of cars and more a museum of stories, each vehicle representing a chapter in his life and career, and together they showcase his taste for performance, luxury, and symbolism. Among the highlights is his Ferrari 488 Spider, a $270,000 masterpiece that he calls his Sunday morning escape, recalling how he first drove it top-down along Miami's MacArthur Causeway, while the sunrise turned the sky gold, a memory that turned into a ritual of freedom. His Mercedes-Benz AMG G63, worth $160,000, is his everyday ride, a tank-like SUV that he used to roll through Atlanta while sitting high above the traffic like a king surveying his land. The Rolls-Royce Phantom, valued at nearly $500,000, is his moving boardroom, where he has sealed million-dollar deals while cocooned in its whisper-quiet interior under the glow of the Starlight headliner. For speed with elegance, Ross chooses his Rolls-Royce Wraith, a $340,000 coupe he once cruised down Ocean Drive in, its V12 humming like a lullaby as the city lights danced across its silhouette. But his collection is not only about modern machines. His candy-colored 1955 Chevy Bel Air, worth $130,000, serves as a nostalgic time machine, reminding him of Americana's golden era as he rolls slowly through Fayetteville with Motown on the radio. When he wants to make noise though, nothing compares to the Lamborghini Aventador, a $450,000 beast he first unveiled at his own car show, revving its engine to a roar that electrified the crowd. Each vehicle in his collection is more than horsepower. Its identity, legacy, and a rolling symbol of what it means to live like the biggest boss. For Rick Ross, luxury doesn't stop at mansions or cars. It extends into the skies. And in April 2023, he made one of his boldest moves yet by purchasing a Gulfstream G550 private jet for nearly $20 million, registering it under the name Maybach Air LLC to cement its status as an extension of his empire, rather than just another vehicle. With its cream leather recliners that turn into full beds, polished wood interiors that gleam under soft mood lighting, and a galley stocked with bottles of his own Belair champagne and bamboo rum, the G550 is less an aircraft than a flying penthouse. When Ross boarded it for the first time as its owner, it wasn't for business but for family. He took his children on a private trip to the Bahamas, showing that his wealth was as much about creating memories as it was about appearances. With a range of over 6,700 nautical miles, the jet can connect Miami to Dubai non-stop, freeing Ross from TSA lines and commercial flight delays, allowing him to wake up in Georgia and have dinner in Paris. For the biggest boss, the G550 is not only a symbol of success but of freedom, granting him the power to move across the world at will, all while maintaining the persona of the man who makes an entrance everywhere he goes, even at 40,000 feet in the air. Rick Ross's taste for the extravagant shines brightest in his jewelry and watch collection, where each piece isn't just an accessory but a declaration of status, artistry, and wealth pushed to its most audacious limits. Among his most talked about items is a gold key pendant worth $25,000, crafted entirely from solid gold and studded with diamonds, which he wears as a symbol of holding the keys to his own kingdom. Then there's the diamond-encrusted basketball, created as a tribute to the Miami Heat's 75th anniversary, valued in the tens of thousands, a piece that no one would ever dribble, but instead sits like a crown jewel in his collection. Yet even those pale in comparison to his custom self-portrait pendant, a dazzling iced-out miniature of his own face worth over $1 million, crafted with staggering detail down to tiny diamond sunglasses by celebrity jeweler Johnny Dang. His watch rotation is equally over the top, featuring a Rolex Day-Date President at around $70,000, an Audemars Piguet Royal Oak at $130,000, and pieces like the Richard Mille Abu Dhabi worth $600,000, a Jacob & Co. Mystery Tourbillon priced at $1.3 million, and the crown jewel of them all, a Richard Mille billionaire Ashoka encrusted with over 500 sapphires, reportedly worth $2 million. Each piece is less about function than about performance art, an extension of his image as a man who doesn't just live large but redefines what excess looks like in hip-hop culture. Behind the glittering cars, the massive estates, and the diamond-encrusted watches lies the machinery that funds it all, and Rick Ross's business empire is as diverse as it is profitable, pushing his estimated net worth in 2025 to around $150 million. The foundation remains music, with his debut in 2006 setting off a run of chart-topping albums and lucrative tours that poured millions into his accounts. But Ross has always been strategic, expanding beyond music into ventures that turned his brand into a money-printing machine. Maybach Music Group, founded in 2009, became more than a label. It was a factory for stars like Meek Mill and Whale, generating steady revenue not just from his own music but from the success of artists he developed. Yet Ross's most famous business move came in the form of fast food, when his love of lemon pepper wings led him to invest in over 25 Wingstop franchises, turning a personal craving into a reported $500,000 per month revenue stream. He added a Checkers drive-thru in Miami to the portfolio, and then expanded into alcohol, becoming the face of Belair champagne while also investing in bamboo rum and McQueen gin, drinks now inseparable from his brand. With cannabis booming, he co-created Collins Avenue with Cookies, and in tech he invested $1 million into JetDoc, a digital healthcare platform. Add to this more than 17 brand partnerships, from Reebok to Rap Snacks, and an Instagram following of over 20 million that brings in six-figure checks for sponsored posts, and it becomes clear that Rick Ross is not just a rapper but a diversified mogul whose hustle has been built layer by layer like a luxury high-rise, each floor another business securing the foundation of his empire. While Ross's lifestyle often makes headlines for its excess, behind the boss persona lies a man who consistently reinvests in his community, using his fortune to create opportunities and preserve vital services for those in need. One of his signature projects is the Boss Up Grants, which provide funding for entrepreneurs looking to scale their businesses. And in 2024, Ross auctioned off rare items from his personal collection, including jewelry and designer clothing, to fund the program in partnership with Creative Collective NYC. In June 2023, when the Fayette Care Clinic in Georgia faced closure, Ross personally donated over $30,000 to keep its doors open, ensuring low-income and uninsured residents could continue receiving care. His giving has extended to hands-on work as well, such as partnering with Habitat for Humanity to help build a home for a veteran in 2020 and launching financial literacy initiatives for families. Internationally, Ross has supported projects in underserved communities in Lagos, Nigeria, where his contributions earned him local recognition. Every back-to-school season, he funds programs in Florida that supply resources to at-risk youth, and through a partnership with Magic Johnson's Burger King restaurants, he helped launch the first-ever Rick Ross Day Out, dedicated to youth engagement and community support. These efforts show another side of the biggest boss, one that doesn't just spend money on luxury, but understands the importance of giving back, reinforcing the idea that his empire is not only built on wealth, but on impact. Behind the stage lights, luxury estates, and non-stop hustle, Rick Ross's most cherished role is that of a father and family man, with 5 children: Toy Roberts, William Roberts III, Berkeley Hermes, Billion Leonard, and Bliss, each representing different chapters of his personal journey. Toy was born to Lastonia Leviston, William III with Tia Kemp, while Berkeley, Billion, and Bliss came from his relationship with longtime girlfriend Brianna Camille. In 2015, Ross was briefly engaged to model Lyra Galore, a relationship that drew tabloid headlines before quietly ending, but through the ups and downs of his love life, he has remained a deeply committed parent. He openly shares how his faith guides him, saying he prays before every performance and credits God for helping him survive some of his darkest moments. Health scares have haunted him, including 2 seizures in one day in 2011 and a life-threatening incident in 2018 that left him on life support after a suspected heart attack. But each time he returned stronger, reshaping his habits and doubling down on his ambitions. For fans, Ross is the image of the biggest boss, the man in the Versace robe mowing lawns or stepping off a private jet. But for those closest to him, he is a father, a survivor, and a man who has lived through challenges most couldn't imagine. This balance between public spectacle and private resilience adds depth to his story, proving that behind the headlines is a person who built his empire on both showmanship and survival. As the gates of Promised Land close and the lights of Star Island reflect across Biscayne Bay, Rick Ross's story stands as one of hip-hop's greatest testaments to ambition, hustle, and reinvention, a journey from the streets of Carol City to an empire worth $150 million and counting. His life today is defined by sprawling estates, million-dollar jewelry, fleets of cars, and a jet that carries him across the globe. But beneath the shine lies a man who turned controversy into resilience, setbacks into motivation, and dreams into reality. Promised Land is not just a mansion, it is the physical manifestation of a career built from grit, while his Miami mansion symbolizes his place among the elite of entertainment and business. His cars and watches are trophies of success, his jet is freedom, his businesses are legacy, and his philanthropy is proof that the boss persona has a heart for his community. And yet, perhaps the most defining part of his story is that he continues to grow, adapt, and expand, refusing to be boxed into one identity, whether as rapper, mogul, father, or philanthropist. For Ross, living large isn't just about wealth, it's about impact, image, and inspiration. From mowing lawns in a Versace robe to sealing deals in a Rolls-Royce, he has crafted a life that blurs the line between reality and performance, leaving the world to watch and wonder what the biggest boss will do next.